Aloha everybody, how's it going? This is Tommy Lee here. I want to thank every single one of you guys for tuning in and watching this video. Today is June 15th. We are 15 days in since the launch of GPS Global Platform Solutions. I'm an Influencer 10K and I'm so excited. I've never been more excited about anything in my entire life. And I gotta tell you guys, in the last 26 years I've been being in this industry, I've seen so many different types of company concepts and compensation plans, and nothing, all of that put together, couldn't have prepared me for the level of excitement that we see and the potential with this company. So I'm going to do my best today to kind of sum up those 26 years in a very short message, but answer that question, why GPS? A lot of people say, hey Tommy, why should I get into GPS and what's so good about network marketing? Why should I get involved now? Well, obviously with the pandemic and coronavirus and things, a lot of people are soon finding out that, job security is not what you think it is. Something bad really could happen and I need a plan B. Some of you guys are just looking for ways to increase your retirement, or some of you guys out there just want to help your church or your family or your friends out. Or maybe just get more vacation money or whatever it may be. But I'm going to do my best to share with you some very valuable information. So in the last 26 years, as I've traveled all throughout the world, I've been able to create a circle of mentors. And one of my most favorite and most powerful and successful mentors taught me very early on. He said, Tommy, there's only 2 rules to becoming wealthy. Okay? And I hope that you guys are taking notes with me as we go along this training, because I paid tens upon thousands of dollars to get this information and to learn from the masters. And so don't get the messenger in the way of the message, just get the message, guys. The first one you guys got to learn, what I learned, stop listening to broke people. And most people take advice from the wrong people that have the same problems as them. Isn't that just kind of funny? If you wanted to learn how to solve a math problem, ask a mathematician. If you wanted to solve a science problem, ask a scientist. If you wanted to solve a medical problem, well, ask a doctor. But don't ask somebody who's broke or struggling or not doing financially well how to become a multimillionaire. That just don't make sense. You've got to ask yourself, number 2 rule, always ask, where are you getting your advice from? Or where did they get their advice from? Most of us learn from our parents and our teachers and our friends that surround us. Well, let me ask you a question. How successful are they? I love my parents, I love my grandparents to death, but they were not multi-millionaires and super successful, wealthy people. They just passed on the information, what they thought was absolutely relevant and the best information they knew how down the line. Could you guys agree that, multi-millionaires and billionaires talk about different things at their dinner table and their breakfast table than you and I did when we were growing up? So always ask yourself, where's that advice from? But as you go out there and start spreading the opportunity and approaching and exposing people about GPS, we're excited and we get it, but you're going to get very frustrated when you see somebody else that just don't get it, but they not have the same education or experiences, or maybe they're not entrepreneurs just like you, okay? So understand the ratio. Insurance Industries of America do their research every single year. 95% of people live a lifestyle called paycheck to paycheck. 5% of people financially dependent. So having that knowledge in your head is going to arm yourself. Because if I go out there and I talk to 10 people and I show them the GPS video, and keeping that same ratio, 95-5, 95-5, and I expose 10 people, well, the question is, how many of them are going to get it? I mean, right there. The answer to that is 0.5. If you said 1, I want to know what high school you went to. But guys, seriously, half a person. I mean, sometimes I think, I don't know if I'm talking to the right half of the person. I'm like, excuse me, do you see an opportunity outside of, it's kind of funny. So if I talk to 20 people, how many of them get it? Like, video, here's my credit card, no brainer, I'm in, sign me up. The answer to that is 1. Now, I'm not saying we can't get 2 out of 20 or 5 out of 20. In fact, I've been getting closer to like 19 out of 20, but I'm just telling you guys, that's the statistics. And if you're not okay with that, then, well, you've got to move to another planet. And the question a lot of people ask is, well, why is that? Well, let me explain it to you how it was explained to me, okay? It's something called content versus context, okay? And the problem with content versus context is there's a whole lot to becoming a business owner. There's a whole lot to becoming an entrepreneur and learning how to become a leader and getting some communication skills and learning how to handle objections and not having a fear of rejection and all those things that you learn in business. But when you dump all of this content, and GPS is a whole lot of content, to somebody's context that they were just born and raised and bred by the system to become a 9-to-5er, it doesn't fit in there and it spills out. They just don't see the value and they don't get it. Okay? So we have to help them grow that and expand that, maybe even through a video like this, so we can expand their context. Now, one of my mentors is a big-time advocate of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, because there's, you know, I hope you read the book. If you didn't, go get it. But there's only 4 major ways to make money in the world. ESBNI. And the first one is E, or in the employee bracket. Now, although you can become super successful and wealthy from this category, it is by far the hardest. And the reason why is because of taxes. Okay? You ever heard of that saying, you're born free but taxed to death? Also, in the employee quadrant, you have a boss telling you what to do, and you live in fear. Because any of you guys ever been late for work? You start diving through traffic, you're going to be late, your heart's thumping, you're running in from the parking lot into the office, and you get in and you're breathing all hard. Why? Or you're worried about impressing your boss or getting the numbers and things. Why? Because if you lose your job, you lose your income. You lose your income, you can't pay rent or mortgage or put food on the table or pay your kids' tuitions and all these kinds of things. So we're held hostage. Also, you do not have any energy. No energy to build a business, because by the end of the day, after going through a long day of work and driving through traffic, stop by the grocery store trying to get dinner on the table, we're like, I'd rather just have a glass of wine and go to sleep and watch some TV. Okay, so some people get sick and tired of being in the employee quadrant, and they move on down and migrate to the S quadrant, which stands for small business owner or specialist. You know, maybe they do a hair salon or manicures, esthetician, a massage therapist, a real estate associate, you know, or you maybe be a 1099er here. Okay, but now you don't work 40 hours a week. You work 70 hours a week, 90 hours a week. You can't call in sick, but hey, at least you got some tax benefits here. But my mentors and Robert Kiyosaki would tell you, you need to get out of this side of the quadrant and get onto the B and I side. Now, B stands for big business. Big businesses like IBM and Microsoft, okay? Where, you know, and to get into these industries, it could cost you millions, it could cost you hundreds of millions of dollars, and this is the land of the sharks. It's eat or be eaten, and everybody is out there to kill you. And I promise you guys, it's very competitive out there, and it's ruthless and relentless, and a lot of people are afraid of getting into big business, nor do they have the resource, the knowledge to start a big business. And that is why Robert Kiyosaki and many other big super successful icons are saying that you need to get into network marketing or multi-level marketing, where maybe for less than $1,000 you can start your own B business and literally grow it all over the world and have income coming in multiple different currencies, multiple different time zones, and you can leverage the efforts of others. And then, of course, the number one goal eventually, guys, is to make money in all of these quadrants, or where you're playing, and become the I, the investor, where money begets money. And then you can diversify and do all those things and play in a real estate game, what have you. But I'm just telling you guys, learning this science is everything. My mentor taught me about 2 boxes. And he says, Tommy, if you get these 2 boxes, your life will change. And if you don't understand or track these things, you're going to work hard for the rest of your life until the day you die. No pressure, no pressure. But my mentor taught me about these 2 boxes. I hope you're drawing them right now. It's very simple. It's income, less expenses, and assets minus liabilities. Okay? Now, we got told, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, embellish on a resume, start off at the big company and work your way to the top. How many of you guys got sold on that lie? I mean, plan, right? And then you meet somebody, you move in together, you get engaged, right? Instead of having 2 rents, you now have 1. Instead of having 2 mortgages, then you now have 1. And you have combined income, and I promise you guys, when you started that first job off, at Microsoft at $74,000 a year. You work at Costco with room to move up. Well, your favorite uncle comes, Uncle Sam, and says, hey, we're going to tax you. Okay? And then, you know, here comes everything else. Rent, mortgage, car payment, food, cell phone, TV, gas, shopping, entertainment, and all your expenses. And what's left over at the month is key, because that's called WC, or working capital. And it's what you do with that working capital that matters everything. And some people are like, well, Tommy, I don't have any working capital. Then you're in trouble. See, in the beginning, you got to live within your means. My mentor said, Tommy, act your wage. I was like, act my age. He's no, act your wage. And it's kind of funny to me that I see people that are out there and they're not financially free yet. And what happens is they go out there and they start buying things like Starbucks caramel macchiato. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, it's just $5 for a coffee. I'm like, what are you talking about? $5 a day. That's $25 every week. That's $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. $1,200, you could have signed up in GPS. You could have got your virtual reality Pico 2 goggles and a bunch of months of subscription. You're off and running. And coffee's not even good for you. So I'll tell you guys right now, what do you do with that working capital? It might be $5. It might be $50. It might be $500. But what we got to learn how to do is take that working capital and put it into something called an asset. Now here lies a problem of definition. What is an asset? A lot of people say, well, my house. My house is an asset. Yes, real estate can be an asset, but if the bank owns your house and it's not positive cash flow and you have a mortgage, that is not an asset, that is a liability. See, assets are things that increase your money every single month without you doing nothing, in layman's terms. Liabilities are something that subtract money out of your bank account. Like kids, are they asset or liability? Oh my God, that's liability, big time, right? Okay, so it's so funny that a lot of people, they come, they meet up, they get engaged, they get married, they're first-time homeowners, they're signing the DROA, and they're so jacked out of their mind when they're signing the mortgage. Little do they know the evil behind that. Mortgage, like Latin root, mort, mortality, to die, gauge, engage, to participate in. You don't believe me? Google it. The French root for mortgage means to pay until the end. Guys, it's a death contract. And what we're doing is locking ourselves into the E quadrant, right? Because the money we were making wasn't insane money, but it was enough to pay the mortgage. So you put 20-foot barbed wire fences and electric fences and walls around the E quadrant because you're now trapped there because you got to pay the mortgage, okay, for the next 30 years or more. You know, in the early 1900s, the life expectancy was only 45 years old. Midlife crisis was 22. People got married at 15. And you only had 7-year, 12-year, 15-year fixed mortgage. Today, there's 30, 40, 50-year term fixed mortgages, guys, because life expectancy in science, okay? So just understand, guys, that a lot of things, we just don't know the definition to it. But what we've got to do is take this business, okay, or take our working capital, start a business, and start growing our assets, which you can do through GPS, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you guys this story, famous story in Robert Kiyosaki's book. It's called The Bucket Story. And this is going to hit home for you guys when it comes to residual income. So there was a village, and this village was 10 miles away from its water source. And the villagers were just sick and tired of going back and forth to the water source and back to the village. So what they did was they contracted and put out 2 bids. So only 2 people could handle the water for the city. Now, the first guy went immediately out there and he bought some stainless steel buckets. And he had the stick, and he's going back and forth from the village to the water, okay, 10 miles. And coming back and filling up the village well with water, and he's selling the water, and he's making money. The second guy, he literally just disappeared for like a whole year. And this guy's, what the hell? You know, now I have a monopoly. I can charge whatever I want. He's making money hand over fist. 1 year later, this guy comes back. And the guy carrying the buckets is like, dude, where the hell you been? I've been making money for a whole year. I bought a house. The guy's like, well, I had this plan. I wanted to set up a stainless steel pipeline and put a pump on it. And then all I got to do is turn on the pump and the water's going to come. But I don't have any money. So I had to make this business plan. It took me months. And then so many people shut me down. I finally got some investors. But then we had to buy the land and we had to get the permits. And we had to... Anyway, it took me a whole year. And the guy's like, you're a freaking idiot. I already bought a house. You're spending money. I'm making money. So whatever. The guy starts building a pipeline. And it took him a whole another year to build this pipeline. And every time the guy with the buckets is passing him along the same route, he's like, dumbass, stupid. You know what I mean? He's just like, dude, I'm making money, you're spending money, you're losing money. What happened the day the guy finally reached the water? He turned on the pump and water was streaming 24 hours a day. It cost fractions of the amount of money that it could to get the water to the village. It was cleaner, it was higher quality. So the guy with the buckets had to drop his price down to 20% of what he was charging, or people wouldn't even buy his water. He had to start doing shifts around the clock. In fact, both of his sons had to start carrying buckets. And when they got older and they went off to college, he said, hurry home, boys, because one day this bucket business is going to be all yours. And for some reason, both of them never came back. And this guy died by himself with a sore back from carrying buckets his whole life. And this gentleman spent his entire life with his family, traveling around the world as money just came in constantly. Now let me ask you guys a question. Where did you get your financial advice from? Did somebody, maybe a parent or someone that you love around you, tell you to go out there and work hard and carry buckets? Or did they teach you how to set up a pipeline? You know, when wealthy people are at their breakfast or dinner table and they need to make more money versus average people are like, hey man, I need more money. I need to go out and get a part-time job. But wealthy people are always saying, no, we need to raise more capital. Let's go out there and open up a part-time business. It is a difference in mentality. And this is residual income. So why do we want to open GPS, guys? Well, we could do other things out there. Let me tell you right now. Let's do the quick comparison. Maybe GPS versus a traditional business. A McDonald's costs over $1.5 million to get one, and you have to have $1 million to get one, if they even give you one. In fact, I heard now you have to have a McDonald's to get a McDonald's. So it costs ridiculous amounts of money. How much would it cost for you to start your own virtual reality platform? How much would it cost you to start your own shopping mall, like an Amazon or an eBay or an Alibaba? Okay, so guys, GPS, it's like with your shipping and your goggles, if you got everything, it's $750. Actually, you can sign up in this business for 99 bucks. You know, the goggles and just being a customer, or I should say the device rather, okay? And getting your monthly subscription for VRLU is basically $99 a month, and that gets your qualifications, guys. So, price comparison, are you kidding me? Well, guess what? Is it going to take some training? Yeah, you're going to get some specialized training. We have that here as you're watching right now. Well, in any business, are you going to have to get training? Absolutely. Guess what? Is it going to take some time for you to make back your initial startup cost for your device, for your subscription, for your GPS membership, what we call becoming an influencer? Of course, not very long. But you know what's cool about this? It's going to take time to break even on your McDonald's or your business or your Subway or what have you. But here's the difference. Anytime you want to increase your overhead, you must also, or increase your revenue, you must also increase your overhead in business. You know, I got a friend, her name is Cheryl Michioka. She owns a travel agency. Let's say her travel agency is banging. I mean, it's super busy. It's to the hilt, which happened prior to the pandemic. And she had to hire 2 new people. So when you hire new people, you got to go out there and put on an ad and pay their salary and screen them and then buy new desks and computers and pay their benefits and then train them and then advertise more, and then you can take more customers. So you have to increase your overhead in order to increase your revenue. If you have a gas station and it's cranking at the pump and you want to extend the roof, dig a hole, put another tank and put another pump there, it costs you more money to make more money. Now in GPS, 750 bucks, you're up and running with everything. And if you want to increase your revenue, you do not have to increase your overhead. See, some of you guys are just got started with GPS, and maybe you have a few influencers on your team. I have over 3,000 influencers on my team. But guess what? It cost me $99 to start this business. It costs you $99 to start this business. And it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 500 or 3,000 or 50,000 influencers. It costs you $99 to track them and train and support and all these things that are happening, guys. I'm telling you, this is a business of the century. It's just ridiculous, okay? So, after that being said, I want to talk to you guys about how are we going to use this business to change our game here. Okay, so we have income, less expenses. We're taking our working capital, how little, small or big that is, and we're rolling it into something called an asset. We're clear on what an asset is. Guess what? Every time you get a GPS influencer to join your team, and then they go out there and get other people to buy devices, and they get other people to subscribe to their VR Lose subscription. And in the very near future, we're going to be retailing so many different types of products on the online virtual reality store. We're going to have games, we're going to have apps, we're going to have live entertainment. We're going to have so many things for sale. And that's every time you go out there and get a customer, that's going to increase your residual income. Every time you get a subscriber that's paying $99 a month, it might be tiny, it might be small, and it's going to start adding up. And we're going to build your asset column. See, when you have more liabilities and assets, that's not good. But if we can start building your asset column, one day your asset column is going to be more than your liability column. And that's a beautiful day, because what's going to kick out on the end? It's called income. And ladies and gentlemen, where does income go? It goes into your top box. Now, if you were making $74,000 a year at Costco, or you were making 74 grand a year working at Microsoft or Apple starting pay, guys, now you're making 84,000. Now you're making 112,000. And then you have the same expenses. What are we going to do with that? You know, a lot of people say, Tommy, you need to save money. Do you guys know that saving money is lose money? Do you guys know that if you don't make at least 10% a year on your money, and this is told to me by somebody worth over $100 million, that you're losing money because of inflation. And look at the pandemic now, what it's doing to currencies and stock market and all these things and interest rates. I'm telling you guys, saving money is losing money. Well, maybe we could marry somebody rich. That's a way to get rich. That's not a popular sport, right? Are you guys with me on that one? Maybe you want to get lucky and win the lottery. Guys, when you start making more money, you do not increase your expenses. Not in the beginning. You just let it go into your working capital column and you build more assets. More assets, greater liability, more income. Whoop, now you make 200 grand a year. But you have the same expenses. More working capital. Whoop, now it's time to change your zip code. Now it's time to change your wheels. So I'm telling you guys right now, it's very important you understand this game of Monopoly. Because if you are tracking these things, you're in good shape, okay? If you ever have more expenses than income, not good. If you ever have more liabilities than asset, that's also not good. If you're not tracking this stuff, guys, I pray for you, okay? You have to know this stuff. What you don't know can and will hurt you, okay? So my mentor, he got trained by a multi-billionaire. His name is Bill Bartman. And this took him weeks and weeks to extrapolate these 3 things that billionaires look for. 3 things. You guys want to know why the most successful people are doing GPS? I'm going to tell you right now. There's only 3 things they look for. The first thing is called UVA. Okay, that stands for undervalued asset. If I could buy a $20,000 gold Rolex watch for 5 grand, well, that's an undervalued asset. Why is that a no-brainer? Because you could buy it for 5 grand and sell it the next day for 6 grand. You made $1,000. You could sell it for 10 grand. Make some good coin there. Same thing with real estate, same thing with cars, okay? The second thing they're looking for is something that is residual, okay? What can I put time and energy and effort and resource today that will continue to pay me over and over and over again, even when I'm sleeping, even when I'm not working, guys, okay? And the third thing they're looking for is something called compounding, okay? Compounding interest, okay? Now let's look at GPS. Is it an undervalued asset? You could join this business for $99. You could buy your VR device for $500 and you could get your subscription for $99 a month. You're off and running. Guys, when I had to open up my restaurant, it cost over $70,000 and that's tiny. just to get pots, pans, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, all of the styrofoam plates and the utensils and the health department to come in and inspect, all that kind of stuff, guys. Just to open your doors, no profit yet, 70 grand. Okay, so GPS is an undervalued asset, guys. This is ridiculous. Is it residual? Yes, people are paying their subscription every month, just like Netflix or Disney Plus or Quibi, guys. It's a subscription. Okay, is it compounding? 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and we all know the power of exponential growth, guys. Okay, that's literally, you know, how massive things are built, from Facebook to Twitter to everything else in the world. The human population, sadly to see, the coronavirus is doubling, quadrupling, right? And then within hours of time, you can have a trillion different. Anyway, don't get me started. But what GPS is, it is a triple play. It's not one, it's not two, it's all three. And that's why we have some of the most successful people on the planet jumping in and doing GPS, okay? So, in review, I hope all of this makes a lot of sense to you. But if you send somebody this video that's sitting there like, why should I do GPS? What's so good about network marketing? And they actually paid attention with an open mind and said, wait a minute, that kind of makes sense. Wait a minute, yeah, that does apply to me. What could possibly happen is their context might grow just a little bit. They might see a need for a plan B. You know, the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people got furloughed, lost their jobs, their businesses went, it's crazy. So they thought they had an invincible lifestyle. And a lot of times people are finding that we are vulnerable. You do have to have a plan B. There are things out there to get you. And what you don't know and what you don't understand will hurt you. Look at asbestos. Look at lead poisoning. Look at all these things, guys. All I'm saying is, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next year or 10 years from now. Today could be the last day on this planet. To me, the most important thing is time. To me, the most important thing is helping other people to get from where they are to where they want to go. To me, the most important thing is helping everybody to get to their happiness. And that's what this company is really all about. I've been in the direct sales industry 26 years, and I've come across every walk of life. I've done literally tens of thousands of presentations, from college students to high school students that just graduated, to executives, blue-collar workers, top chefs, millionaires, multi-millionaires, movie stars, actors, professional athletes, religious leaders, political leaders, and everyone in between. And it always blows me away that some of the most successful people in the world just get it. Maybe they were lucky and born under that lucky star. Not me. I was born and raised in an average middle-class family on a lava rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But because of this training here, because of the mindset, because of following systems, because of being coachable to mentors of mine and best friends that showed me the way, I was able to create a lifestyle where I haven't had a job this century. And I don't plan on having one till the day I die. You know, I'm super excited about owning my time. It's not about becoming rich or wealthy. I just want to wake up when I'm done sleeping. I want to be able to go where I want to go, eat what I want to eat, drink what I want to drink with whoever I want, as much as I want. And that's really what happiness is to me. I'd rather be sitting on a beach, fishing and diving and surfing and doing all those fun things versus sticking in an office and staring at four walls, okay? So the beautiful part about GPS is you don't have to stop what you're doing. You can start building your asset column super part-time from the comfort of your own home. And in GPS, it's not just on the direct sales side. Some of you guys watching this video, and the part that appeals you to the most is that you or maybe some good friends that you have are of that stature, and they could be potential masters or content creators, right? Some people are watching this video and they're like, man, I retail a product. I create this X product, and man, if one day I could align with GPS and have all of these tens of thousands of influencers marketing my stuff, well, that's just another stream of revenue for me. And that's a no-brainer, so I'm in. And some people are smart enough to do all three. So I'm telling you guys right now, hope this video really hits home for you, because honest to God, 99 bucks. Like, are you serious right now? That's a nice steak dinner. Most of your shoes cost more than that. I mean, so really, what do you have to lose here? I'm not saying there's any guarantees in life. This is a startup company. But although we're all new to GPS, trust me when I tell you, the guys that own this company, Mr. Danny Bay, co-founder and chairman, for the last 20 years, been breaking records. His business partner, CEO, the number one social commerce platform in Korea. I'm telling you guys right now, they've got all their ducks in a row. It's a startup company and they're just building it, and we're gonna encounter every obstacle and competitor, and we're gonna disrupt the industry. We're pioneers. We're gonna go through lots of growing pains. But honestly, what amount of liability are you taking or risk versus where we're going? There's over 150 people on our leadership chat or core leadership team in America alone. 150 people like me, or way bigger. There's people on that chat, guys, that make me look manini, like I am a hobbit. I'm telling you, some guys on that chat are over 50 years in the industry, made tens of millions of dollars, and done hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue on this chat, and they're all just as jacked up and fired up as I am. So like I said, take my advice, guys. Where are you getting your advice from? Stop listening to broke people. Make a decision. Jump on board with us. It's going to be the ride of your life, and it's going to be super rewarding. So work hard, stay coachable, follow the system. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you guys on the next one.